So let's take a look at a couple of homework questions from section 2.1. This one is number 8. So it's talking about cofunctions. So for example, if you had sine, then its cofunction is cosine. And the fact is that if you have sine of theta, then cosine of its complement, or 90 minus theta, will give you the same thing. So for example, let me use my calculator and make sure that it's in degrees. So if I just make something up, how about sine of 50 degrees? All right, it equals that number, 0.766. And then cosine of 90 minus that, and it equals the same thing. Okay, so that's what they're talking about with cofunction. Now specifically for this one, and of course they change this part every time you open the question, so yours probably doesn't look exactly like this, but it's very similar. So for this one, it's cosecant, and so that means its cofunction would just be secant. And if they say cosecant of 72.2 degrees, well then its cofunction is secant, and it's going to be 90 minus 72.2 degrees. So they're asking for this part right here. And it looks like they're not asking for the actual number that this is. They're just asking you to type in this part, secant of how much is 90 minus 72.2. 90 minus 72.2. That's going to be a 17.8 for this particular problem. So they're looking for secant of 17.8 degrees. Now, one technical thing is right here, they already have degrees, so they say do not include the degrees symbol because they already put it. And then when I went to do this problem, one little detail, for some reason, it did not like my parentheses. So notice in here, they did not use parentheses. So don't use parentheses, just put secant of 17.8, and they already have the degrees symbol. Okay, on to another one in section 2.1. So this is section 2.1, number 10. So they're saying they did square root of 2 over 2. So the square root of 2 and then divided by the number 2, and it gives you this decimal. They're saying they also did sine of a, and they're saying what number did we plug in right here so that we got 0.707, which is equal to square root of 2 over 2. In other words, they're saying we have sine of a, it happens to equal square root of 2 over 2. Then what angle is a? And it's going to be between 0 degrees and 90 degrees. Well, since sine is opposite over hypotenuse, then what I could do is make a little right triangle. This is going to be angle A, and then opposite that is going to be this side right here, so this is square root of 2. And the hypotenuse, that would be 2. So what kind of triangle is it that has this side is square root of 2 and that side is 2? Well, for the moment, what I'm going to do is call this x and then solve for x. So the Pythagorean theorem would be x squared plus square root of 2 gets squared equals 2 squared. So that is x squared plus 2 equals 4. And then subtract 2 from both sides. So x squared equals 2. And then take the square root. X is equal to the square root of 2. Okay, now go back to the right triangle. That means this side equals the square root of 2. Well, this side is square root of 2, and this side is also square root of 2. That means if this is angle A, since these two sides are the same, these two angles have to be the same. So this also has to be A. Well, the three angles of a triangle have to add up to 180, and this is already 90, so that means A plus A has to equal 90. Or in other words, 2A equals 90, so A has to equal 45.